wish you were here by my side. Your song in my ear, your hand on my thigh. The highway is clear, unlike my mind. I'm dreaming as I drive. I've been inside my own head for days, but this fantasy is keeping me awake. I wanna get lost in the night, stuck in a road stop neither of us like. Eat till we talk, laugh till we cry. Tell me it's not too late. I wanna get lost and miss the signs. I never liked adventure, but you changed my mind. Sleep with the stars, lose track of time. Tell me it's not too late to try. Tell me it's not too late. We could see the world, you and I. There's no place on this earth that isn't better with your hand in mine. It's taken me way too long to realize, and now I'm dreaming as I drive. I've been inside my own head for days.
Hey, Chris.
Watching you kiss all my breath away. Getting tired of the twists and the turns we take. But at least this fantasy is keeping me awake. Yeah. I wanna get lost in the night, stuck in a small town nobody can find. Eat till we drop, laugh till we cry. Tell me it's not too late. I wanna get lost and miss the signs. I never liked adventure, but you changed my mind. Sleep in your arms, make up for lost time. Tell me it's not too late to try. Tell me it's not too late. It's not too late. I know we made mistakes and messed up the navigation, but let's find another way then, because I want you in my life. Where do you wanna go? I promise we'll take it slow. Get lost on all the back roads. Oh, just tell me we can try. In the night, stuck in a road stop neither of us like. Till we drop, laugh till we cry. Tell me it's not too late. I wanna get lost and miss the signs. I never liked adventure, but you changed my mind. Sleep with the stars, lose track of time. Tell me it's not too late. I wanna get lost in the night, stuck in a road stop neither of us like. Tell me it's not too late. Lost for you. I never liked adventure, but you changed my mind. Sleep with the stars, lose track of time. Tell me it's not too late.
All right. Here we are. Ooh. This is interesting. All right. Where we're supposed to be. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the TTRPG Theater. I am your host, Rob, otherwise known as Phantom NJ, and we are back from GaryCon. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I am doing well. I hope both you and Keisha are doing well, too. I'm glad to hear you guys got home safely. Thank you for the water and stuff while we were out there. Thank you both for playing in all three of my games. It was a hell of a weekend. It was a really good weekend. I did manage to survive mostly free of con crud for the first time. Oh, man. You know, I ended up getting some rather forced sleep. Because of the fact that I got home about, I think by the time my flight arrived and by the time driven home, it was sometime between 6 and 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So, you know, it was good. The only problem was a tree up the block had fallen. And in addition to blocking the street, and where I am, there are only two ways off of my street. And one of the two ways was blocked. Thankfully, the other one wasn't. So I was still able to get to my house without having to, walk up the block with just my suitcases, because that would have sucked. But yeah, the power was out, and very very localized outage. The tree had fallen, taken out a bunch of power lines, and that power ended up not getting restored until about sometime between 2 and 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So that was fun. It was especially fun considering the power company, they do their power estimates, and the first estimate is normally kind of like a standard time if it's a minor issue, how long it's going to take, and they'll usually put in like a 3 or 4 hour time on it, and they kept changing the time and changing the time. Every time the new timing, the new estimation was wrong. By the time they got to the new estimated time, they'd have to adjust it backwards, and they did it by another 2 hours. And they finally realized that they're going to need to dispatch more crews. They were working throughout the night on this, apparently. I think they might have put in an additional pole, which might have explained why it had taken so long, even with the additional help. But yeah, so I was kind of cuddled up under blankets because it was a little chilly. It wasn't bitterly cold, and my house never dipped below like 60 something degrees, but it's the kind of cold, it's the kind of temperature, even though 60 degrees sounds reasonable, inside the house, it ends up being a just pure chill. Outside 60 degrees doesn't feel bad. Inside the house, 60 degrees when you're used to being a 70 something, yeah, 60 degrees is not fun. So I was caught up on blankets and basically just trying to sleep it off, waiting for the power to come back on. And it went through the night, and eventually the next day, I would go out every once in a while. I'd go for like coffee, go for breakfast or whatever, get out of the house, charge my phone, and bask in the warmth of the temperature. Thankfully, Tuesday warmed up really quick. Tuesday, I think we hit like 65 degrees outside, or 60s. Let's put it this way: Tuesday, sitting in the car, I was actually getting warm even without the heat on. So to give you an idea what Tuesday was like. But yeah, it was a really good weekend. Just from Oh man, it almost started off as a very bad weekend. Honestly, I was had taken the plane, taken a plane to Chicago, and I'm in Chicago airport. And I get on the trying to get on the air train, and there's a guy, 81 degrees. Yeah, it's warm here today. I think today we hit 70 something. It's not bad at all here today. Um, so yeah, I get on the train. I'm trying to get on the train, and there's a guy. He and his friend. I don't know if it was wife, girlfriend, whatever. He's got headphones on. I'm like, excuse me, because I need to get through. You hit no one today. Well, Pat, that's on you. And the guy's like, I heard you. And it's like, but you didn't move. And I'm trying to get on the tram before the doors close. Mind you, I'm lugging my carry-on, which also has my CPAP bag on it, which is awkward. Um, and I'm, trying to pull two full-size suitcases with me. And the guy just starts cursing at me. He's like, he's talking to me through gritty. It almost sounded like his teeth were wired shut, or his jaw was wired, or something like that. And he's, he's yelling at me that he's disabled. Which, okay, but his first line was that he heard me, and just decided not to move. Meanwhile, I sit down. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, okay, if you're having an issue, why didn't you take one of the seats that were there? Because there were seats available. But no, he's standing in the doorway. And the guy's just cursing me out, like, repeatedly. I'm like, I'm just staring at him. I think I stared him down the entire trip to the, the 3 or 4 stops to get to the where the car rental place was. And the amazing thing is, the guy, after all that, as soon as the door opens, when I tell you the guy like ran out, I mean, I'm not talking he turned and walked away. He bolted out of the car, which I I honestly don't know what his problem. I'm just sitting staring at him. I look across, and there was a couple sitting across from me while I had my, I'm like, and meanwhile I'm sitting there trying to hang on to my suitcases while I'm sitting down so they don't like slide into him, because the tram car the air train can move pretty quick, and it's not exactly comfortable trying to hold the suitcases in place, especially when they were loaded down. And the woman was just like, "It's not worth it." I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm Jersey, so I'm just going to stare. I am not backing down. I don't know what exactly his problem was, but I just basically stared him down the entire time. Just you want to look at me and mumble under your breath, go ahead. I am not taking my eyes off of you, because I don't know what the hell that was all about. It's like I apologize for bumping, but I didn't. The thing is, I didn't even really bump into him. I was just like trying to get on the air train, and he's just not moving. And I might have slightly bumped into him, and I said, "Excuse me," when that happened, because again, I need to get my suitcases on the thing, and he's standing in the way, and he didn't move at all. I'm trying to move around him, which is awkward. So I might have slightly touched him with the suitcase. I don't know. If that's the case, listen. I would apologize for that normally, but holy hell! So that was the start of my trip. Thankfully it was all good from there. We got in. I got in early enough so that I stopped for a haircut. Got my keys for the room. I still find it funny that we had the vacation club room right next to each other. That was pretty cool. And then go up for the gold badge, and that's where things got interesting. So I'm standing online for a gold badge, and this gentleman comes. I think he was like standing right in front of me in line. I'm pretty sure he was like either right in front of me or right behind me. And he goes, "Did you run such and such an Adventures in Castles and Crusades a couple years ago?" And yeah, it was definitely one of my adventures. And he goes, "So I got to tell you, that was the start of my Castles and Crusades journey. It was the first time I'd ever played it, and because of that game, that's all I play now." Oh, and by the way, here's my son, and his son. His son, the guy was about my age. His son was probably in his mid-20s. It's like, yeah, my son just plays Castles and Crusades, and that's all he plays, and it's all thanks to you. I mean, I was kind of stammering because I didn't know what to say. I'm like, thank you. It's an amazing thing. I mean, I know that I've introduced a lot of people to Castles and Crusades, but mostly people in the community. People I see online every day. To have that happen from a game at a con is something really, really special. And I must have thanked the guy about 10 times or so. I'm not even sure. We had a conversation, and I remembered after about a minute and a half, I remembered how to speak, and we were talking. It's like, well, have you met the trolls, and talking about Steven and Chuck and all that, and all the good stuff, and what are you doing now? And it was good. It was a great conversation, but what a way to start the con. I mean, I didn't have my badge yet. I was still online. And that's when the fun really began, because the swag, the swag that they had for GMs and gold badges is nuts. It really, there's no other way to put it. Chris, I think you saw the bags that I was lugging around. They had two GaryCon bags, and you think of like the standard size, the shopping bags that you get at the at the supermarkets these days, if they do them by you, for the reusable shopping bags, handheld things, were stuffed completely. Both of them were completely stuffed with board games, with TTRPG books, with a couple of box sets. I don't even remember which one was the GM bag, which one was the gold badge bag. Both of them were heavy as hell. There had to have been at least 20 to 25 pounds worth of stuff. No, it didn't say GM bag on it. It just said it was just a GaryCon bag, but we got one for GM. I think you had a GM a certain number of hours, and I had I did 14 hours. I did three 4-hour sessions, and I did a 2-hour Tower Gygax session. But yeah, it had. I mean, like the stuff it had in it. There is a Blade Runner TTRPG starter edition, was a box set. I think there's a Pendragon starter edition, is a smaller box set. There was a box of battle maps, which I made use of. It was perfect. It was absolutely that timing could not have been better, because I did bring some terrain pieces with me, but the battle mats allowed me to have something underneath those terrain pieces other than just the beige Chessex mat that you like draw on. There was a copy of the newest printing of Gods and Legends. Hey, Fosco, how you doing, Ed? Hope all's well. Hope you got back. Hope you didn't end up with Concrud. I managed to escape Concrud this year. I did it in reverse. I started off wondering on Wednesday and Thursday whether I was coming down with something, and probably because I was very conscious of the fact that Wednesday I was very drained and Thursday was a long day. Taking it easy, I actually got better as the week went on. Yeah, I heard about which George? Why can't I think of who George? I know one George, but for him it wasn't a matter of Concrete. He had family issues, but I'm not sure which George we're talking about. I did not realize. I haven't spoken to George since the con, so yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't get much chance to talk. I think I talked to George for like all of 2 minutes in between sessions. I really didn't get a chance to talk to him much during the con. As a matter of fact, Dirty Dwarf was there, Scott was there, and I don't know that I saw him at all during the con. Now that I think about it, he's like I came home from Concrud 2, and I'm thinking about it, it's like, did I even get a chance to talk to you? It was I did make a conscious effort after last year to make sure that I did get to spend more time hanging out with people, and that went a hell of a lot better than last year, because last year, after like Wednesday or at mid Thursday, I lost track of where the hell everybody was. So last year kind of ended on I had the people that I saw during my games, which is cool, but like after my games were over, I ended up doing a whole lot of nothing in the evenings because I just lost track of where everybody was. This year was different. This year was a lot different. I spent one of the nights at in the bar, not the bars by the lobby, the one I can never remember what it's called. It's one of they'll keep changing the name or so. It was drinking with Bleak Season and Dungeon Mr. Ty and Tithalanos and a couple of other people. So that was fun. We had a few drinks and a few laughs. I didn't see as much of the trolls as I normally do. I spoke to Grace a few times, but that really was about it. Grace was wandering around taking pictures, which was cool. Because I took 0 pictures this year. I I went in and I was so concentrating on being present, I forgot to do anything to actually show that I existed. So thankfully, Fosco, I actually, whoever was, I think it was you, or someone posted the picture from that Grace had taken of me running the game, and I shared it to my Instagram stories, which people seem to enjoy. But yeah, no, I completely forgot to take any pictures whatsoever with people. So any pictures that are out there are pictures that people took of me. Hey, Mr. Tony, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We do have a giveaway going. We are sponsored by Trollord Games, makers of Castles and Crusades, amazing adventures, and other fine products. Exclamation point ticket to enter. Thank you so much for the follow. It's a $10 coupon towards any digital product from the Trollord Games website. And little life hack: if you're the kind of person like I am who buys not only the digital product but the physical product, if you buy the combo, you can put it towards the combo. So it will, if the digital product is not quite $10, you can save a little money off the physical product too, buying them at the same time. It's what I like to do. It's probably why my TTRPG physical collection is, it's part of the reasons why it has grown even more than it had during my 2E days. My 2E collection is out of control. My 1E collection would be considered out of control if it wasn't compared to the 2E collection. And then, my Trollord Games collection is out there as well. So like I said, I completely forgot to take any pictures whatsoever. I was there and I was talking to people and it was cool. Wednesday night we did the stream, the round robin stream with Jay, from the executive club, which was nice. Got to hang out with some people, got to meet some new people. There are a number of people who are usually there who are not there, which was a little sad, but got to meet some cool people for the first time. Hanging out, got to talk to Sparkles Mandy, which was fun. She's every bit as fun in person as she comes across online. So, that's really cool. Hey, Dragger here. Good to see you. Who else did I meet for the first time there? I very briefly got to meet Tiffany Rose Nickel in person. She ended up getting sick. Jay and I were supposed to play in a game, her new card game. I think it's a card game based or dice game or dice based game based on her own world that her novels are based in. But she ended up getting pretty sick. She completely lost her voice, and so that ended up not happening. But other than that, got to meet some people and had some really my 3 Castle and Crusade sessions. I think they went fantastically well. Everyone seemed to be having a lot of fun. I had some close calls. Lee was able to. Poor Lee was bouncing back and forth trying to get into my game, and finally managed to get into the game when a couple of people ended up having to drop, and caught Lee at the right time, so they were able to get into the game, which was nice. Oh my goodness, it was a good time. Chris, you and your wife, your characters, same characters, 3 adventures. That was some serious XP you all got. I believe her rogue is now level 6, which is pretty cool. It's one of the higher level characters in the Embers of Empire campaign. I mean, it helps that rogues have the lowest XP table, but hey, it's a beautiful thing. Tower Gygax was a lot of fun. Running Tower Gygax. I will be doing that again next year. I will probably be running 2 sessions. I'll probably run 2 sessions of Tower Gygax next year. It was cool flexing those 1E DM muscles again. I hadn't run 1E in 35 years. I mean, it was the first game I ever learned. It was the first game I ever ran, so we had a lot of fun with that. I had a very enthusiastic group of players, which was cool. They were up for the shenanigans. I picked one of Brett's adventures to run. Hey, DM John, good to see you. Yeah, I ran one of Brett's adventures, and it was. Drag you hear that? Yeah, basically, I stopped running 1E when 2E came out. From like 1980 to probably 89ish. Whenever 2E came out, that's when we switched. I know it was in high school when we switched. And by the time I got to college the next year, the fall of 90, I was fully switched over to 2E. And that's what I ran for my fraternity brothers when at the frat house when we had our big campaign. But yeah, hadn't run 1E since '89. I think I was more comfortable because playing with Jay and Jay runs kind of a mix. It's 1E based, but he does a lot of 2E and even some 3E stuff based in it. But I had gotten used to all that again, which was which made life a little easier. So and the character sheets done by Myriad X were awesome, and I need to make sure that I remember to tell her that when I think she's playing in Jay's game on Saturday. I know it's all of the women. It's all women game on Saturday morning, so I'll be tuning into that at some point. I'm not sure what time. Probably depends on how long my dog wants to sleep in, to be honest, because when my dog sleeps in, but you know something, Drag here? I hadn't run 2E since probably 1997-ish or so, maybe 1998. Might have been a little later. It might have been closer to 2000. No, I'm not playing it at all. I'm hoping to run a couple this year. I have some of the players. I need to get enough of them together at the same time. I have 2 to start with that for a base of a party, and more that I can add. But I need to get and for me, stop running. Maybe not even the right term. We just weren't playing because of life stuff. We were barely ever playing. We were, my fraternity brothers and I, we all had life stuff going on. We would try to get together every once in a blue moon, and we were still doing 2E because I had so much 2E stuff. I couldn't justify buying the 3E stuff. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't because the power creep in 3 and 3.5 was too much for me. It not my kind of game. When we ended up coming back to playing somewhat regularly, my fraternity brother was already running 4E for his son and nephew. So, we got back together and the kids were playing. They knew 4E, so we started with 4E and eventually moved on to 5E. Finding players is always the issue. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for Troll Lord Games, I probably would have been running 2E again, once the pandemic hit. But they made it so easy when they released the player's handbook in digital format for free during the pandemic, the 7th printing. That was the genesis of Friday Night Crusades, which led to me running Castles and Crusades on a weekly basis, in addition to streamed games. And it's so easy to teach people. It's ridiculously easy to teach people. But I'm not gonna lie, 2E is still probably my big love in terms of game systems. I had a social media interaction, which actually went a lot better than it could have, and the guy was talking about 1E and it being peak or being 2E talking about 2E being peak D&D. And I was like, listen, I've played all of them and I've enjoyed all of them to some extent. Well, I've run all of them except for 3.5, 3 and 3.5. And somebody disagreed with him and was talking about he had barely played 2E, but 1E was so tough to survive and this and that. And I'm like, you found 1E tough to survive? He's like, well, he goes, I was playing a magic user, a first level magic user. I only had 2 hit points. I'm like, you realize that this 2E wizard had the same D4 hit die, so it wasn't any easier. It's like, he's like, would you stop bringing, he's like, sir, I'm going to need you to stop bringing facts into this. He had a good sense of humor about it, but it's like, yeah, I was like, 2E was not, 2E was not the Power Gamer version. Savage Splendor, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. That's awesome. And somehow we ended up with a hype train, and I am not honestly sure how, but I am not going to complain. That's cool. Hey, Wolf, thank you so much for lurking. Good to see you. But yeah, 2E is 2E is still my main love. If it wasn't for CNC, I'd be running 2E in a heartbeat. Honestly, if I wasn't in the middle, if this campaign hadn't been going on so long, I'd probably be running 2E in a heartbeat. Because your drag here, let me explain this to you. Your lap was empty, and the cat was like, that will not do. There is a lap. I am not in it. I must go sit in lap. Oh man. Or at least that's every cat I've ever seen. My dog, on the other hand, is Mr. Independent. Well, yeah, I mean, they have the sense. They can tell when there is a lap available, and they will find the space, and the cat will find its way there. My dog just basically went upstairs. I don't know if he went to go lie down upstairs where I'm not talking, or, oh no, actually, he apparently came back down and was very quiet about it because he went back to his doggy bed. But he's lying in the corner, ignoring me. But so yeah, Tower Gygax. So this was a fun one because this all involved the party having to deal with a dragon of a different sort. It was a dream dragon, Lumino the Lightmare. All puns intended. And I kept having to stress that this is a very, very different. One day I will die in a Tower Gygax. I will get to dying in a Tower Gygax in a moment, because I've got another story there. So the dragon, when the dragon breathed on the party, they didn't take almost if the dragon breathed on you, it didn't do all that much damage. However, there was the chance of various things happening, various types of confusion, paranoia. It was like a list of different bad effects. None were, honestly, I don't think any of them were deadly at all. I know what you're talking about, Pat. Different tower. Yeah. Read the 3-page detail of the 10 by 10 room with words that no one on this earth had ever spoken before. I know that man had a thesaurus sitting in front of him, because those were a dictionary or something. Because yeah, when you start using words to describe things that are just completely superfluous to the adventure, and it's like you're just showing off vocabulary words. Like that's I don't find that interesting. When you're using this, yeah, but you know something, the castle. If you've signed on for Castle Zagig for the Troller Games thing, assuming they don't change any of the descriptions, just wait, and read some of those descriptions because I've read a lot of books and I have a substantial vocabulary. I have never read so many descriptions of things where I honestly had no idea what the hell he was talking about. Like, I couldn't even have hazarded a guess. Hey, Bones, love you too. Good to see you. It was so good to see you there. Yes, I miss you too. Oh, it was just reading the descriptions like what am I even reading? I was like I couldn't even tell. The inner courtyard is huge. That's the funny thing. It's not the inner courtyard for Castle Zagig is not small. That thing it's got. If I don't know that I'll ever run again because I'm kind of over the whole mega dungeon thing. People get bored. I get bored. It's like people want to do something else. I've got to find that sweet spot for a dungeon crawl which is just big enough. It needs to be just big enough so that you're in there for a bit. You feel like you've gotten something really accomplished, but you're not in there so long where when is this just going to end? Which is kind of how I felt. How I felt when I went to Venice and did the Doge's Palace, where we were walking around so long, especially when we got to the basement where the cells were, and it was like this never ends. What is going on? It feels like we've been down here a month. I was so happy to get out of there. It was just we need to find an exit now because I need to see the sun again. Listen, you joke. I was close to doing that. It was bad. It really was bad. Those descriptions were They were painful to read. I mean, you just find the most obscure. It's like finding the most obscure word you can possibly find just to describe a lamp. Why? What are you doing? You're not impressing anyone. I can go and plug things into a computer and find really obscure words for shit too and make myself sound brilliant, and you're not, it's not impressing anyone. But yeah, no, Tower Gygax, we had fun. The party ended up surviving. Got close with a couple of them because even though the dragon's breath wasn't the killer type, the dragon's claws, dragon's bite, and the dragon's tail very much were, especially for a first edition party. One of the interesting things was there was somebody in the group who guessed the secret of the room out loud, and I had to keep a very neutral expression so as to not let him know that he had guessed it, because that would have been a super quick Tower Gygax session. It would have been over in 10 minutes, and that would have been bad because I had taken upon myself to memorize it so that I could do it without reading it off the page. And memorizing the Brett did a fantastic job with the descriptions. The descriptions of the room, the dragon itself, the dragon's personality, the door that they were trying to get to and open, and all the mushrooms and everything. And so, I did my best to memorize it so I could just do the description while looking at them and not looking down at a piece of paper or down at my tablet. And it worked. The problem was this was the encounter. I did not have anything else. Anything else I did after that would have been me with 10 complete strangers pulling stuff out of my ass just because I did not have anything else planned after that. Thankfully, the guy never picked up on the fact that he had guessed the secret. So, the encounter went on. And there came a point where they're in this cavern and there's mushrooms all about. And, somebody decided that they wanted to try eating one of the mushrooms, seeing if it was like a Alice in Wonderland type effect. And I did a die roll, and I was going to do one on a 1d6 as you kind of do in first edition. Made it poisonous, and I'm talking deadly poison. She rolled a 1, and I'm like, so make a saving throw versus poison. She made her save, so she did not die. I had her character, realize that it was really bad and spit it all out and whatever. What ended up happening was this gave another guy the brilliant idea to take his weapon and try to hit the top of one of the mushrooms and get the mushrooms in the dragon's mouth. Real cool. Gonna let him try it, see how it goes. He rolls a nat 20. All right. Roll 1d6. He rolls the 1 on a 1d6, so the mushroom is poisonous. I rolled the dragon saving throw, and I rolled a 4. And at this point, I was like, okay, I can try to cheese my way out of it. I mean, we were over the hour mark, so we were in good shape. I think we were like an hour and 20 minutes into the 2-hour session. So I was like, something, he rolled a natural 20. He did the thing. He got the best rolls you could possibly get, and all the right things happened. So I made up this big play of a dragon choking on mushrooms that, went down the wrong pipe and, was kind of poisonous, and the dragon keeled over. So they killed the dragon. The party was all kinds of happy. It's like, congratulations. You have survived the Tower of Gygax. And again, everybody had everybody had a fun time. The party was really into it, which was cool. I enjoyed playing the dragon because the dragon was kind of nuts. She had been in the tower for at least 400 years. No, it's different dragon. I'm talking. This is not the same Tower Gygax, Pat. This is a very, very different thing. This is a GaryCon special where it's 2-hour games run by different DMs and all kinds of different scenarios where it's almost like you enter another room and you never know what you're going to find. There's no sense. It's a warped reality type thing. Every scenario is something completely different. Hey, Justinius, how are you, Greg? Hope you're doing well. I hope you got back from GaryCon and escaped well with escape con crud. I did. I'm happy to report. So that's really, really cool. We're talking about the tower. Well, if you don't have crud at this point, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say you're okay. Surviving to go and Bones. I'm not sure if Bones is still here, but Bones, sitting there waiting around for the chance to put the death stamp on character sheets. Oh, Brett was like, they killed the dragon. I'm like, Brett, this is what happened. It's like, it wasn't for lack of trying to kill them. I beat some of the players, the characters up really well. So, and then after that, I got to play the 3 DMs that were going when in the session after mine were Tim from Stronghold. What do you call it? Jay was running, and then Greyhawk Mike was the one that I was in, and Tim is new to running 1E and is like, I was like, something, I'm gonna, let him do his own thing. I don't want to be, I don't want him to feel like I'm like looking over his shoulder or anything. It's like, so I'm like, if I go in Jay's game, Jay's gonna hunt me down. I know he's gonna hunt me down. He's gonna looking to get in that kill shot, because it's Tower Gygax, so you can do that anyway, and it's just fun. Played in Greyhawk Mike's game where we did the Cultist of Tharizdun, and I survived. So I am 5 for 5 in Tower Gygax, surviving 5 different DMs. Mike's game is probably the closest I've come to dying, because at the end you ended up doing a roll. First you picked a card. I think it was a card of fates, and they look like tarot cards is basically what it is. But I picked a card and I ended up being the leader of the Cult of Tharizdun, which was kind of fitting because I tried to turn undead and it completely failed. So, my character was a priest of Foltus, and basically I told Foltus to go to hell. So joining the Cult of Tharizdun seemed appropriate. And then the second part of that was a die roll where, you're rolling a madness die, and I survived the catatonia that took a couple of player characters. All I ended up with was a drinking problem. I'm the head of a cult and I drink too much. I can handle this. Mike had the if you've seen Mike's cultist cartoons that he does, his cultist comic, I should say, which is really cool. He had the cult robes on and was giving out pins. So I've got my cultist pin still with my bag somewhere. Still in my bags. That was a lot of fun. It was a kind of a cult initiation thing, which was enjoyable. We did lose one character in that session. Well, we lost a couple of characters due to the madness roll, where they went catatonic, and we just basically sacrificed them to Tharizdun. We did have one dissolve in acid, so that was fun. I'm not sure. I think we might have had one more character die, but I honestly don't remember. Or it could have been a different die roll on the madness die, or maybe even the fates card or something. But that was fun. Again, it was good to see people. There were a lot of hugs. There still a couple people that I somehow seem to have missed, but hung out with a lot of people. Had some good food. I had my intro to real Chicago deep dish. I still never will replace. It still will never replace New York style pizza for me. Hey, Keith, good to see you. 51 months. Thank you so much. I am grateful that the tomato sauce that the pizza place used was tasty, because the one thing I realized with deep dish is if the tomato sauce isn't good, that pizza's going to be awful. This was not that. It just, the flavor, the flavors are just off with that combination. When you've got the sauce on top of the cheese and whatever topping, I ordered one with pepperoni, and I had to convince myself that there was pepper, and there was pepperoni all over the thing. When I tell you, you really could not taste the pepperoni, and that just seems wrong. But it was tasty. It was fine. I don't regret it. But you will never catch me ordering. If I have the chance to choose between the two, I will go with the New York style or Sicilian every single time. The deep dish just did not taste right. I also did a Chicago beef sandwich, which was really good. That was delicious. Did one had cheese, had Gordonera. I think it's Gordonera peppers. They were hot peppers. It was a extremely tasty sandwich. That I enjoyed more than I did the deep dish pizza. Granted, I ended up having to eat the deep dish pizza. I only got a 14-inch pie, and I ended up having to eat it over the course of like 3 days because, they're very thick and filling. I did not do the steakhouse this year. So, what about Troll, John? I'm missing something. Excuse me. Need more water. I've been pretty dehydrated and been not drinking enough water. Didn't drink. I thought I was drinking enough water while I was there, and that was not the case. Okay. I'm not sure what I missed, but okay. Oh, right. Let's see. A lot. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun. Uh, Chris and his wife Lakeisha were in all three of my games, which was really, really, really cool. They were also right next door to me in the vacation club, which is now and forever. It is my favorite place to stay while I'm at GaryCon. I would I would have to be really lucky and be able to get like the villa at GaryCon where you're in building 5 and kind of right next door to the action for it to get any better than I had it at the vacation club. The vacation club suites are huge, which is awesome. The one thing that I'm going to do next year is this year was the latest I ever of the trips that I've taken. I think this was the latest I ended up getting in, other than the first year. But the first year was a totally different mess. The less said about that first trip, the better, just because brings up some. The con itself was good. There's some bad memories attached to it though. The Holiday Inn, I'll probably see about getting an earlier flight, and this way I can do some shopping and get myself properly prepped for the weekend at the spending the weekend at the inn, because you've got a full suite with a refrigerator and everything. It's like I might as well take advantage of it. Somebody remind me next year not to bring any painting stuff next year. I don't know why I do that. I even with the extra time, and even with Sunday really not doing anything Sunday up until it was time to go out to dinner with people, I still never got around to painting a single thing. I really need to stop doing that. Hey, Touch of Evil, good to see you. I spent more time talking about painting than I did actually trying to paint anything. I had a nice conversation with Keisha about that. Hey, Mayuso, good to see you, Brad. It was a lot of fun getting to play with you in person. That was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome that the last session, because the one guy had to leave, ended up being 5 people that I know all of them. That was that made for a good time. Oh, even if I ended up having to NPC the cleric just to make sure that you all stayed alive. Nearly killed Lee's character, but okay, it happens. Would not be the first time I've killed one of Lee's characters. Oh, and I went out of my way. I'm honestly, I went out of my way to give it every opportunity not to kill Lee's character, because I really would have felt bad. thankfully, all the things that needed to go right went right, so that you could get over and get the heals. Because getting slapped down to -8 hit points was kind of rough. It was pretty rough. It was touch and go there, and there was somebody blocking away, and thankfully we were able to get through it. Then there was, I think it was the second game where we had the pitched battle outside the keep, where it went on for quite a while, and it was a really cool fight. Keisha's character nearly died. Got lucky when she withdrew and didn't get hit on the withdrawal, because that probably would have put her into negative hit points. And if she had gotten crit, probably would have killed the character outright. That kind of would have sucked, but she was able to get out of that, and it was the one fight where nobody's dice were rolling well. There was a whole lot of missing going on, and big pile up of characters and enemies and such. The guy playing the mage, his guy's name was Danny. He was playing a mage by the name of Panini. Did a good job of using spell usage. Ended up drawing all the defenders out of the keep, so that they couldn't just sit there and rain arrows on the party for the entire length of time. I probably ended up saving at least one person from completely going down, if not dying. So we had some good sessions. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed running them. I enjoyed running Tower Gygax and playing in Tower Gygax. And after that, it was all just relaxation. I hung out in the Tower Gygax section for a while. I had, like I said, I had drinks with Bleak Season and Dungeon Mister Ty and a couple of other people in the bar area the one night, and then went down to the Tower Gygax section where there were two different games going on. Curtis was running a Champions game, and had Brett and Jay and others were playing in it, and they ordered pizza. And this was, I don't know what style this was. Maybe it was Detroit style or whatever. It was okay. It was closer. The pies were freaking huge. I think they're like 24-inch pies or something like that. And then they took those pies and they cut them into like squares and stuff. It was like they kind of just ran the roller over them and cut them every which way but loose. And like, this is messy. It's like, how do you guys eat pizza like this? Looking forward to virtual GaryCon. Yes, but there's stuff to do before then. There's not virtual. You're talking about virtual GreyhawkCon. Virtual GreyhawkCon. The thing is, virtual GreyhawkCon is in October. I am not rushing through spring and fall, summer yet. I'll be rushing through summer when it's like 94 degrees and 85% humidity, and I just want to die. Then I will be looking forward to October with all due haste. I will be running a whole lot of games during virtual GreyhawkCon again. I can promise you that much. I'm going to do this same thing I did last year. Maybe they call it a party cut. I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's messy. It's hard to eat, especially when you didn't have a lot of napkins. Just really weird. Pizza was tasty though, and the pizza was on the right side of the cheese, and the cheese was on the correct side of the tomato sauce, and there was tomato sauce, which was bonus. Yes. I need to get to a bunch of groups together again. What was really cool was there was the one group that the Saturday group for where we had the 5 players. 3 of the characters had played together in the virtual GreyhawkCon session, which was kind of cool. We had Sir Aiden, Zegan, and Minya. Were all in that it was the Agents of Almore session. That was, so it's like, yeah, I could bring in some of the deep lore. And you know something? If that guy left, he said it was a friend's emergency. He was talking about. Yep, the knight, the monk, and the rogue. Yep, very good. Um, if that guy left because he realized that everybody else knew each other instead of it actually being a friend emergency, I'm not even upset by it. Oh, it's like it's like, all right, whatever. I'm okay with this. I realize I'm actually going along because Jay does not have a stream tonight. I don't even know who is streaming tonight. Um, who is running tonight? Oh my goodness. I don't know if there's going to be anybody on soon because I am not going all the way to 8. I might end up raiding into Eat to Surf because Eat to Surf raids into J all the time, and that'd be pretty cool to be able to send that back out. 3 more. You're at Chris. You at work? If so, I hope that's going well. All right. They're doing a Monster Talk father and son chill. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Maybe we'll do that. They've been going for a little hour and close to an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I mean it was nice, and then Sunday night, 5 I think it was 5 of us went out to dinner. Went out for Italian food for dinner. We had a nice meal, some discussion, and then Monday the trip home Monday was easy. We had I was through TSA, despite all the talk about issues. Oh, ads. What an annoying thing they are. We can hold on for a few seconds, but yeah, I think we were, unless somebody else comes on, I think we are definitely going to raid into Eat to Surf. 4 printed CNC modules and made 3 D&D characters. You've printed 4 CNC modules. All right. They did have an 18-hour drive. One of these days, I may, if the flying situation continues to go downhill, driving to GaryCon is definitely in the realm of possibility for me. It is about a 13-hour drive. I would just have to make sure that I time it so that I am driving past Chicago at a good time. Oh, that was bizarre. It was like lurking on Eat to Surf, and the screen got kind of wonky on them. I would just need to figure out what that good time is. Granted, honestly, the worst part of that drive for me, beyond the traffic getting past Chicago, is the fact that I have to drive the entire width of Pennsylvania. And it's just not a fun drive. There's really nothing to see. It's really a kind of a boring drive. On the other hand, once I've done that, by the time I get to the far side of Pennsylvania, the drive is almost half done. Jay is 2 hours, 2+ hours south of me. And honestly, it might be a longer drive from Jay's house than it is this way. There's no good trains going east to west, Pat. And I can't sit on a bus that long. If I was on a bus for, first of all, the bus would not be any shorter than driving, and I would want to shoot myself being on a bus that long. Oh no. Yeah, but you're stuck on a bus. That would be hell. That would truly be hell. I used to hate taking a bus into the city, and that ride was only like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm not doing a long ass bus. I mean, granted, the seat on a bus is more comfortable than a seat on a plane, but not when you're having to sit there for that long. Just kill me. And again, there are no good trains going east west, unfortunately. It doesn't matter, Pat. They're not going to get there. They're not going to get there any faster. It's going to be longer by a considerable amount. Because the bus driver is not going to drive for 13, 14 hours straight. I can drive for 13 hours straight. I used to drive. I did the drive. I realized that I could drive it when I realized it was shorter than driving down to Tennessee, which I did 3 years in a row. Splitting it up with an overnight stay is not a bad thing. I wouldn't need to do that though. There'd be no point. There'd be no point in doing that. Because by the time I get to the point where I'd really want to stop for an overnight stay, I'd realize that, listen, I've only got a few hours to go. What am I doing? It takes me maybe 40 minutes to get outside. Hey, Chris, good to see you. I hope you got home safely and without any sign of con crud. I managed to escape it this year. I was actually feeling better as the con went on. Yes, it was. Oh, that's amazing. You are a lucky man. Usually hits me every year. This year I kind of went in reverse, where Wednesday and Thursday I was feeling kind of rough, and then I got better as the week went on. Probably because I took it very easy on Wednesday and Thursday. Oh yeah. There was one thing I had to do on Sunday though, other than kind of get ready, start the packing process for the next day and such. And that was, I had to go. I talked in the beginning of the stream about the 25 pounds worth of stuff that we got for the GM and in the GM and Gold Badge swag bags. I ended up driving 20 miles to the nearest UPS store, which happened to be in Illinois, and shipped stuff home. I had to ship the stuff home. It cost me $70 to ship free stuff back home because I could. My suitcases were light enough where I could have taken on the additional weight. There was enough room. There was just not enough room. There was like 7 board games. There was There was at least 2 TTRPG starter kits. Like 3 or 4 books. The box of battle maps. The miniatures, including the one that Brad is talking about, and I do. It's very cool looking. It's a very large packaging for a very small mini, which made it kind of difficult to see. I realized part of it was because it's got a base that is a lot larger than the mini is, but it made for excessive size packaging for it, which of course I think also helps keep it from getting crushed, kind of. Then there was the Mr. Potato Head Beholder thing, which was neat and funny. But yeah, no, it cost me $70 and big ass box that I had sent home so that I didn't have to deal with it. No, I don't regret a thing because I would not have wanted to have dealt with my suitcases. I don't want to deal with my suitcases at the best times. I would not have wanted to deal with my suitcases if they were overstuffed and close to the weight limit. That's a lot, especially when you're trying to wander through the Chicago airport. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a good time. It was great to see everyone. I mean, there were some people that I did not. There are some people that I got to spend a lot more time with than I usually do. There are some people that I barely saw at all, but still, on on balance of things, it was a great con. It was a great weekend. I had a good time. I got to spend. I felt a lot better about having been present and being able to spend time with people this time around, as opposed to last year where I felt like I kind of missed a lot of stuff. So I'm happy. It was a great weekend, and I am already looking forward to next year. I don't think I'm doing any more cons this year. I'm not doing the one down in South Jersey. I've got no desire to do that one. Even if it is only 2 hours away, it's just I don't even want to talk about it. It's the first one. I have issues with that whole setup, but I'll leave it at that. We've got Virtual Greyhawk Con coming up in the fall. Summer of Siege is coming. There will be another Summer of Siege. I need to start getting the word out to people as far as when we're going to have sessions for the Righteous Hands, for other groups. Trying to find some additional days to play that don't interfere. I don't want to be interrupting a Friday night. Friday Night Crusades will keep on going. I'm going to try, not to interrupt that for any stream games. Maybe do some Saturday night games. Sunday morning. I've got a couple of Sundays where there's going to be 2 Sundays this year where I have to work. We're having some staffing issues, so I've got 2 Sundays that are not going to be in scope for running games. So I'll work around that. Though one of them is coming up the week after next, so we'll get that out of the way. And then the next one I think is like in July. But I'll be doing some Summer of Siege related stuff, and again, this will all be part of the campaign. We'll just have some additional theme things going along with it. And with that, we're going to get ready to raid. Thank you everyone for popping in and chatting about GaryCon. Thank you to everyone who was at GaryCon and joined my games or came over and said hello and hung out for a bit. It was fantastic to see everyone. It's a really, really cool thing. Yeah, it's a TLG thing. Grace is the one who kind of organizes that whole deal. There's even a Discord specifically for Summer of Siege. All right, so let's see. We are going to raid into Eat to Surf. But first, we have the giveaway. Oh, I plan on making sure that the 3 of you, I will get a game definitely with the 3 of you. I'm going to see if I can get some more of the people in who were in that initial session into the Summer of Siege game. And Chris, I'm hoping that by the time we have your next session with Sir Aldrich, that I've got the Tritherion champion down. Fingers crossed that I'm able to get that done, but we'll see how it goes. I am going to close the giveaway in last chance to enter !ticket. We've got 6 entries, which is cool. But I'm going to close that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I will. Yeah, I will see what I can do about making. At least schedule is kind of funky, but if I can get Lee in, I definitely will because always enjoy having Lee play, and Lee going to lengths that Lee goes through just to play in Friday Night Crusades. Playing from your phone when you're walking to the bus stop, and then playing on the bus, and then from the bus dropping off to your house on Friday nights. I will always make sure that whenever possible, if they're able to play, they're invited. All right. What do we call it? The giveaway is closed. Drawing the winner. Keith, congratulations. I will get that out to you when we call it in a little bit. But please hang tight as we are raiding into Eat to Surf. Get your raid, raid emotes ready. Eat to Surf. For those of you wondering, I do have a raid emote that should be available to everyone. All right, we are raiding into Eat to Surf in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you all on the flip side. Bye now.